After showing the pile reinforcement video on using embedment, now we have the model. We'll just copy this model and we'll continue to do the frictional interface section for the piles. So we'll just name it as model 2. You can name it accordingly like embedment and friction. So let me just clear it for you. Embed, and we'll rename this as friction, because in this model we'll be using frictional interfaces. So we have all the material properties which we don't need to do again, but first of all, because we'll be going to change the step type, because in the step type we have used geostatic step and soils step. But if we are using frictional material and we know that the cohesion is very small, so we might not be able to use these conditions. So we'll just delete this geostatic step, and we'll replace the soils step with our dynamic explicit step, because with low friction with low cohesion and frictional usage, we might need to go with the dynamic explicit modeling, and based on that we have to just go with the default settings of nonlinear geometry on and click on OK. So time period will keep on 1, unlike soil step where we keep the time period 10. Now after this step we have to go to property, and in the property, because we are now not using any pore water pressure material, so we'll go and edit the sand property and remove the permeability part, and that's all. We need to remove the permeability part and click on yes, and from anywhere else we'll go and see if we have any pore water pressure related parameters. So in the interaction module we'll see that we have embedment, but in the load module we will have this predefined field manager of void ratio, so we don't require that. So we'll just delete this, and in the pore water pressure setting boundary condition we'll delete this as well, because we don't want it. So anyway, everything else is done. Now we'll go to meshing again, and we have to do the remeshing of sand section. Go to mesh and element type edit, and we'll use the 3D stress type of mesh with the explicit element library, because we are using dynamic explicit steps, so explicit mesh. So click on OK and dismiss. Again with the piles, we'll go to mesh element type, which is by default standard. We'll change it to explicit and click on OK and dismiss. Now the meshing is done. Now we'll go back to assembly. Everything part, property, step, load, interaction we'll check on later, but we'll first have to go to assembly. Now in the assembly we have to create an intersection. So to create an intersection or cut, we'll go to this section where we see that merge or cut instance is visible on hovering. We'll click on it and we'll call it sand cut, because the original sand instance will overlap with the piles, because in embedment that is the condition to support it, but in frictional interface we don't want the intersection to occur. So we'll call a new part, we'll name it sand cut, we'll click on cut geometry, and we'll suppress the original geometry and click on continue. The instances to be cut is our sand part, and click on done. And the instances that will make cut, we have to go and select the instances. So all the pile parts should be okay. So I cannot select them like that, but what I can do is that I can remove selected and then select all of them and click on done. And now you can see that there are holes in the new part which we have just created. You can go deeper and see. Yeah, you can see the holes. Basically this new part, we can go to assembly and check it out, is called sand cut, and this sand cut part is now, as all of you can see, is the new part, and every other part is now deactivated. So we'll just activate all of them. Resume. Yeah, so our now the piles part are resumed. So What else we can do here is that we can just we have our part which is the all the piles and sand cut part. Now you can go to interaction. In interaction we don't require the embed now, so we'll just deactivate or just delete this step, delete this constraint, and we go to the interaction manager module where we can just create the general explicit contact, and we'll call it friction. Click on continue, and we'll go with all with self, because that's what, because every other surface is in contact are either pile and sand, so there are no surfaces which we can see here. So let me just give you a quick look. There are only piles and sand cut surfaces. So just click on creating interaction property which you want to assign to whatever interaction we have visible in our model. We'll go with contact interaction property, we'll call it friction. Then continue, and tangential penalty, we'll use a penalty of 0.25, whatever is the friction coefficient 10.5 between sand and pile, and then mechanical normal behavior, allow separation after contact, click on OK, and we'll select this here, and that's it. You can change the friction between sand and pile depending on what value you are getting on your experimentation. And we'll go to load now. The load will be the same, it will be pressure, but the surface is not visible now, so we'll just go and create the surface again which we have earlier selected. So this surface, click on done, and I guess the load is proper now, 70 kilopascal, and fixed bottom and everything else. Let's just yeah, so roller is a problem. Click on roller again, because the sand cut is a new part, and we have created this earlier sets in part which is named sand. So this is an issue now. Click on done. So let's just check it out again. Fixed is good, roller is good, no other boundary condition is required, loading is good, meshing I guess is good, or what, yeah. So the sand cut part is not meshed, so we'll go to part mesh of sand cut, and you can see that there are very problematic meshing, because the color is not even yellow at some part. So what you can do here is to reduce this color to green is you can create several partitions, but for now I can just go with tet mesh for this part, so that it will be for the current purpose of us. So anyway, the tet mesh is not even, let's see if it's going to mesh the tet mesh, not affect the final, but yeah. So it is as you can see, it's very much not what we were looking for, because we generally look for a mesh which is like the greener part, the middle layer, where you can see there are very evenly structured mesh, but now you can see that the mesh it looks like very general mesh which Plexus and other softwares use, and this is very non-structured mesh, as you can see. But anyway, this is what we are going with now. Maybe in later tutorials I can show you how you can partition the geometry to refine the mesh. Now we'll go to job and create a job. We'll call it test 1, because the earlier job was called test. So click on OK. Memory, we'll just change the parallelization to 4 GPU, because we want our job to be run faster. I'll just put it up for data check. So data check, and we'll wait to see if data check is completed or not. So you can see that the check is completed now. Basically we'll go and monitor if there are any errors or warnings. So there are some warnings though, but I'm guessing that the check is good enough, so we can just run the analysis by submitting the analysis and click on OK, and let us wait for the analysis to run, and we'll check out the results, or if any error which occur in the middle. So you can see that the analysis is still running. So I have been waiting for it to complete, but I guess the mesh size is very fine. So maybe it will take longer than what we have thought of. So let's go and check out the results anyway, because if you go to monitor and see that this analysis is significantly complete, the 1 second time is the overall time, but it is completed till 1.15. So let's see the results. So you can see this U3, you can go and check out the stresses, and you can see the U deformation overall, and you can see that this deformation is increasing uniformly on all 4 sides. One thing which you should note is that the deformation value is seen that it has been completely submerged, the plate is completely submerged, but the deformation value is 0.9 to the power minus 2. That means 99 or about 1 centimeter. So it's not that bad of a case, but maybe after the completion of job there will be a large deformation which we might be able to see. So for that to occur to avoid this large deformation, maybe you can partition this geometry a bit and remesh it accordingly. So maybe in the next tutorial we'll see how we can create the partitions and define the meshing more properly to have a better analysis and timely analysis. Thank you.